Martin Louis the King Jr. starting all that starting is gonna ruin you. Gentlemen and ladies of honor.
The warriors. Yes, sir. Conquerors. Respect.
Misogi Kumagawa.
Who?
When I say that name, your timbers should be shivered. Your knees should tremble. Fear should wash over your body. The demon from the anime Medaka Box. Before we get into it, if you're a fan of anime in general, hit that like button and subscribe. Join the anime lounge and grab a seat. I cover varying anime topics from coolest characters to OP characters, shows to look out for, reviews, roast, character analysis, and everything in between. If any of that sounds like your cup of juice, join the channel and enjoy the experience as we are on the journey to 1K subs. Now, his character has been covered a lot already and everything has been said, but just like with my Brawly video,
it don't fucking matter.
I'm here to add my 2 cents, and you're here because you either don't know about this man or just wish to experience this crazy ride once more. This is the story of Misogi Kumagawa. Misogi! A student and self-proclaimed born loser who happens to have an ability called all fiction, which can turn anything into nothing. The real terror of this power isn't its near infinite destructive potential. It's the broken, manipulative, and chillingly empty personality of the boy who wields it. A boy so broken, so twisted, that he was the only person the benevolent Medaka was unable to accept and save. So without further ado, everybody grab your seat, sit back, and let's meet the boy who erased the world with a smile. To get what makes Misogi Kumagawa tick, you first have to understand his power, all fiction. On the surface, it's terrifyingly simple. I use the term simple loosely. It's the ability to deny reality. Anything Kumagawa decides is nothing becomes nothing. This isn't just breaking something, it's making it so that it never even existed. The ways he can use this are as versatile as they are horrifying. If he gets a fatal injury, he can just erase the damage and be perfectly fine. Erase his own death to bring himself back to life. This makes him functionally immortal. For him, consequences are just an inconvenience he can edit out of the story. But it goes so much further than just protecting himself. He can erase other people's injuries. But where all fiction gets truly terrifying is when it starts targeting concepts. In one of his most famous moments, the only animated fight we see of him, he was up against an opponent whose power was based on color. Kumagawa didn't just overpower him, he erased the very concept of color from his opponent's world, plunging their fight into a monochrome void. Think about that for a second. He didn't just block the light, blind his enemy, erase his eyesight. He deleted a fundamental aspect of how reality is perceived. He can erase time to stop a deadline from ever arriving. He can erase space, sight, and even memories. The power works by denying cause and effect. All fiction just erases both, rewriting the narrative of reality on a whim. This makes it one of the most broken abilities out there. Any problem, any opponent, any laws of physics can just be made null and void. He even admitted he has to be careful because one slip up, he could accidentally erase the whole world. With this kind of power, you'd expect the user to be a god or a king, but Kumagawa is neither, because the source of this reality-denying power isn't a desire to win. It's the absolute, unshakable belief that he's destined to lose, and that's where the real horror begins. So why does he do it? To get to that, you have to understand what he is. In the world of Medaka Box, superpowered people are sorted into categories. You've got the abnormals, or pluses, who are born with amazing, positive talents that make them the winners of that world. Then you have the minuses. Minuses aren't born, they're made. They're people forged by trauma and constant misfortune, whose negative experiences warp them so much they develop powers as a result. These powers aren't gifts, they're weaponized coping mechanisms. And Misogi is the biggest minus in the world. A born loser who, by his own account, has never won a single thing in his entire life. This isn't just a simple inferiority complex. It's the core belief his entire life is built on. Kumagawa clings to the identity of a loser because it's the only way he can make sense of his life. He's convinced himself that he's a side character, an antagonist whose only role is to lose to the hero. This belief is so deep that even when he completely dominates a fight, he'll find a way to call it a loss. Maybe he used a cheap trick, or maybe his opponent wasn't at full strength. Any excuse works to protect his worldview. This mindset fuels a seriously twisted and manipulative personality. Kumagawa almost always has a calm, cheerful smile, but it's just a mask for the emptiness inside and a burning desire to see others suffer like he has. He despises the main characters, the happy people who work hard, have friends, and find success. Yeah, fuck them people. His goal isn't to be better than them, it's to drag them down into his world of misery. His evil doesn't come from a lust for power, but a sociopathic need to feel validated by forcing others to share his pain. There's no better example of this than when he addresses an assembly of the Academy's best students. Using only his words, he systematically crushes their spirits, preying on their insecurities. His negative aura is a weapon that rots hope from the inside out. He's a walking, talking black hole for joy and motivation. He's not a literal demon, but he does a demon's work. He corrupts, he demoralizes, and he delights in the despair of others, all while smiling and talking about how weak he is. And this brings us to his other terrifying ability, one that perfectly captures this philosophy. And here's the central paradox of Misogi. For a guy who is defined by losing, he's terrifyingly good at getting what he wants. He wins by losing. He reaches his goals not by being better than his opponents, but by making their victories feel completely hollow and meaningless. This is where his original minus ability comes into play, one that might even be more psychologically cruel than all fiction, bookmaker. Bookmaker appears as large, specialized screws. When Kumagawa stabs someone with it, the screw does almost no physical damage. Instead, it attacks their mind, their spirit, and soul. It forcibly drags the target down to Kumagawa's level. Their strength, their skills, their talent, and most importantly, their will to win all get crushed to match Kumagawa's own pathetic state. They become a minus just like him. This ability is the ultimate expression of his twisted philosophy. It's a tool of forced empathy, but an empathy born from pure spite. He wants to make people walk in his shoes, not so they can understand him, but so they can suffer right along with him. By making his opponent his equal in every single way, he rigs the game so that a true victory is impossible. Bookmaker is his way of screaming at the world, "See? It's not my fault I lose. Anyone would be helpless in my shoes." It's his demonic baptism, cursing his victims into his own personal hell. His most famous use of bookmaker was against, of course, the protagonist, Medaka, the ultimate plus, the hero, the unsung benevolent deity. He impaled her, fully expecting her spirit to shatter under the weight of his minus condition. He wanted to prove that even she, the flawless hero, was no different from him once you strip away her advantages. The fact that she endures it, that her heart stays strong, even when her mind and body are brought down to his level, is what truly horrifies him, because it proves his core belief is wrong. It proves that being a loser isn't his destiny, but his choice.
Get him.
This contradiction is the key to his entire character. He uses the godlike power of all fiction as an escape, a way to erase problems instead of facing them, which ensures he never has to truly risk anything and can therefore never truly win. Then he uses the soul-crushing power of bookmaker to force others into a game they can't win, just to prove his own point. He sets up his own defeats while making sure his opponents never get the satisfaction of a real victory. He is the unwinning winner, a master of turning triumph into ash. So that brings us to the big question. Why is this smiling, perpetually losing high school kid more demonic than actual demons? The answer is purpose. Think about your classic anime villain. They want to conquer, destroy, or consume. Normally they have a goal, no matter how evil it is. A demon king wants to rule the world. A nihilistic villain wants to end the world they see as corrupt. There's almost always a reason. Their actions, though evil, have a motive. They are a force moving towards something. Misogi has no such goal. He isn't driven by a will to power. He's driven by a will to negate. His destructive impulse isn't a means to an end. It is the end. He once seriously considered erasing every human on the planet, including himself, not out of hatred, but from a fundamental belief that none of it mattered anyway. A demon might destroy the world to remake it in its own image. Kumagawa would erase it with a shrug and a smile, because to him, its existence is just as meaningless as its absence. This is a much more profound and terrifying kind of evil. It's an evil born not from passion, but from its total absence. He doesn't value life, but he doesn't really value death either. During the Kumagawa incident arc, he acts as the main villain, not with some grand plan for world domination, but with a series of chaotic, manipulative acts designed purely to break the student council's spirit. He just wants to invalidate their efforts and prove that friendship, hard work, and victory are all fictions. While a demon corrupts souls for reason, like gathering power, Kumagawa corrupts for the sake of corruption itself. His power, all fiction, is the perfect tool for his mindset. It's not about creating, it's about uncreating. It makes growth impossible by just erasing problems, denying the very struggle that builds character. It's the ultimate anti-shonen ability, a power that spits in the face of effort and perseverance. A demon might offer you a deal for your soul. Kumagawa offers you nothingness for your everything. And he does it for free. He's the personification of a void that doesn't just consume, but invalidates. His smile isn't the grin of a predator that caught its prey. It's the calm, empty smile of someone watching a sandcastle get washed away by the tide. It is a demonic state of being, a complete and total rejection of value in anything. You see, Misogi, in the end, is a tragic paradox. He's a boy with the power of a god, who just wants to be a loser. He wields an ability that can erase existence, but the most powerful weapon he has is his own broken philosophy. We've seen how all fiction can unmake reality, and how Bookmaker can unmake a person's spirit. But both are just symptoms of the real disease, a personality so steeped in self-loathing that it wants to pull the entire world down with it. He's not a demon in lore, but he represents a much more sinister kind of evil. An evil that doesn't roar, but smiles. An evil that doesn't want to rule, but to invalidate. He is proof that the most dangerous monsters aren't the ones who want to destroy everything, but the ones who genuinely believe there was nothing worth saving in the first place. Kumagawa's story does see him change, turning into a twisted kind of anti-hero who learns to care about others in his own broken way. But that core negativity never really goes away. It's a constant reminder that his true power was never all fiction. It was never the ability to erase the world with a thought. It was the chillingly empty personality that would happily do it with a smile.
As long as you're also human, you'll be accepted by Kurakami Medaka. There was but one exception to this rule. The man's name was Kumagawa.
And he was neither demon nor villain.
And there we have it, folks. I have been wanting to do a video about Misogi for a very long time. Medaka Box is such a fun anime. I wish they continued it so we can see more of the battles animated and the showdown between Medaka and Misogi. If you still have a Medaka Box itch to scratch and want to see more, consider checking out my Medaka Box review video. We go over all the crazy fades and action, but that's enough of my yapping. Now it's your turn. Was Misogi the biggest menace and demon in Medaka Box? Who are some other demons out there that need a spotlighted video? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps me out. Join the lounge and grab yourself a seat. Share with your friends or anyone who loves anime like us.
Tell your friends about me.
I appreciate you all for watching, as we always do when we close out. Let's all raise a glass in the air. Here's to anime. Misogi!